Hello everyone. Today I'm actually gonna split this series into two, but we're gonna talk about some poetic devices. Now, for part one, I'm just gonna talk about these four. So the first poetic devices are just some things you will experience in poetry. And why these are important is because the idea of using these devices that generally emphasize a certain message the author is trying to give. Now let's talk about the first one that we're going to go with, and this is alliteration. Alliteration is repetition of consonant sounds at the beginning or ending of nearby words. So let's just say, let's first write consonant sounds. Now, before I talk about, okay, consonant sounds is basically saying like sounds like, I'll give you an example. She sells, sorry, seashells by the seashore. So if you want to emphasize this sentence, we have the sh sounds and the s sounds. So she sells seashells. Oh my God, this is a tongue twister. Seashore. But yeah, a lot of tongue twisters will use this, but you see this repetition of these consonant sounds, which are basically non-vowel sounds at the beginning of every word. Consonant sounds are non-vowel sounds, so you can say like little like losing love. This like just four words that start with the letter L that has a L sound would be another example of alliteration. So if you see a poet or a piece of poetry or an author that has a sentence that's just force a couple sounds that sound the same, it's likely that they want to relate the themes of what each of the words mean. So, one example uh, is actually in Shakespeare. There's a saying where all the witches saying fair is foul and foul is fair. So this idea of alliteration, the fact that both of these, this fair and foul, both start with an F sound, this is saying, okay, both fair and foul are the same thing. So at least we're putting emphasis on these fair and foul sounds. And you'll see a lot of this, but the main idea is that this brings first emphasis, and two, you can either contrast fair or foul, or you can make it such bring home the message that these two things are the same. So you can kind of not only emphasize something, but you can also emphasize a difference, or similarity. Now, similarly, assonance is a repetition of vowel sounds. Rather than emphasizing on consonant sounds, we can say something like the rain in Spain mainly stays in the plain. The dog went to the bog. This is an example. Let's say dog went to the bog. And then let's say we can say this more to grab a log. Consonant sound, remember what vowels are. Vowels are like A, E, O, U. These are basically sounds that connect letters in between. Just any letters with A, E, I, O, U, sometimes Y, is considered a vowel. And you have the letter dog, bog, log. These are all vowel sounds. And again, similar to alliteration, the assonance of the statements can emphasize something. So, one good example of both alliteration and assonance emphasizing a message is actually in a lot of prayer, like Alleluia, 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 or like saying like many sort of praying sounds. Uh, for example, there is a, okay, I don't know what's a good example, but if you read a lot of examples of messages in the Bible or verses that are often repeated, they tend to use alliteration assonance both to emphasize the message as well. That makes sense. And so let's go down to consonants actually. So consonants is a repetition of consonant sounds at the end or middle of a word. So remember, alliteration at the beginning, consonants at end or middle. So this could be saying like lumpy, bumpy road. Sorry, I need to correct myself. Alliteration is only at the beginning, whereas consonance is at the middle or the end. So this idea is still emphasizing this idea that it's repeating itself. And lastly, we'll go over onomatopoeia. Onomatopoeia is basically any sound that sounds like something, or words that imitate sounds, like the word buzz, bees buzzing, or barking. Anything related to sound or clinging. Anything related to sound can be related to a form of onomatopoeia. I'm gonna do another part of this, or as many as we need to get this done. But this is just some basic ideas of poetic devices that you might see, and you might be asked to on an exam or any case, an essay, to emphasize the uses of these devices or how they might relate to the author's usage or emphasis on a certain message. Thank you for listening.